My name is Rick Golding, and we have the Kaskaskia Valley Railway in Carlisle, Illinois, which is 50 miles east of St. Louis. We come to the train shows a lot of the time because we enjoy participating in the train shows, not just going to the train shows. So for that, we created the Time Saver and the Inglenook Railroad Yards, and this allows us to participate, but allows us also to expose it to young children. Most of the layouts, nobody ever lets the kids even touch them. And the future of this whole hobby is the kids, and when they grow up, just like we had a chance when we were kids. And with that, we want them to be exposed to the Time Saver, and it's under a very controlled switching operation. We don't let them get out of hand with it or wreck the trains or anything like that. But we allow them to do the switching maneuvers. Most of them have been exposed to Thomas, and you can tell right off the bat because they say points instead of a turnout or a switch. And they know all about this if you just let them have a little chance at it. So it's become a real interest to us, and it's seeing the shine in their eyes and their enjoyment of being able to hold the throttle, and even the littlest one, if they can start or stop the train, they just beam. And of course that makes us feel good and gives us a whole reason for coming to the train shows. It doesn't really matter what type of track or switches that you use, but the length of the sidings on each side of the turnouts is important because it only allowed the engine and one car to exist in an area at a time in certain areas. And this is the whole control that John Allen put into the Time Saver puzzle. It seems to be very simple, but it can be very confusing and very difficult. And the more you work with it, the more you learn what you can do or sometimes what you can't do. Truly a puzzle. You can just look it up, you can Google it on the internet, you look for John Allen's Time Saver, and you'll get into all kind of puzzles of the Inglenook and everything else. The British are real big into what they call shunting puzzles instead of switching puzzles. And there's a whole nother hobby within our hobby of model railroading, just in the small switching layouts, you know, doing other things than just making the trains run in a circle.
So from a puzzle standpoint, then what you're saying is that you might have a situation where you put a box car here and a flat car here and a tanker car here, and then the puzzle is how do you move them in the least number of moves in a certain pattern?
His design was either least number of moves or by time. And so basically it's 3 cars in a yard and you're switching out 3 cars. So we're just changing light cars with light cars. A reefer for a box car, an empty coal hopper for a full coal hopper, a oil car for an oil car. And it's far more complicated than it just looks. It will take you a great deal of time. It can be frustrating, and believe me, Time Saver is not really what this is. It's a time waster.